One kiss is all it takes.
Falling in love with me.
Fucking shit on my motherfucking screen.
Hey there guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day, because I'm about to make it worse. See, I was already having a kinda bad week due to college. I just failed an exam. Fortunately, there are 2 more that I have to fail to properly fail the course I'm taking. Also, just this week felt kinda off, so all of that aside, let's talk about the video at hand. Now, as you probably saw from the title, this video we're responding to was about emulation, and it was sort of a rant on how it appeals to the filthy casual, quote-unquote filthy casual, and that apparently this is the worst thing since pineapple on pizza. Yes, I said it, pineapple on pizza fucking sucks. Argue about it in the comments, I don't care. But anyways, let's get into this wonderful shit show of a video.
Now today's main topic here, and again, I didn't have really a need to necessarily shoot a video. I just wanted to play around with the settings on the camera. But I did want to talk about emulation. Now we've talked about it before on the channel, and I know this video is probably going to ruffle quite a few feathers.
Damn, man was a prophet.
But hear me out on this. So if you play your games on an emulator, you know, whether it be on your smartphone or a modern TV, or maybe on your desktop or your laptop, or even maybe your Nintendo Switch or whatever platform you're using, you know, that's fine. If that's how you want to play your games, if you enjoy it that way, that's fine. But for me personally, I feel like, you know, most, maybe not all, but most that are playing on an emulator, they're just filthy casuals that want a piece of the action.
Okay, so let me make something absolutely clear since it wasn't already painfully obvious. This Gears of War gameplay in the background is running on the Xenia emulator. Also, secondly, this game already got remastered for PC, so if I wanted, quote-unquote, a piece of the action, I easily could have just gone and bought that from the Windows Store. However, let's suppose it wasn't Gears of War, and instead some game that hadn't gotten a remaster, or remake, or whatever. Like, say, Killzone 2 or Metal Gear Solid. Those games, of course, never received a PC port, and thus, your only way to play them outside of buying an outdated piece of hardware is emulation.
So, you know, I understand not everyone can afford real hardware. Not everyone has the room for it, but, you know, there are some out there that are greedy. You know, they have to fucking download every emulator under the sun and download the thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands of ROMs and put them on an SD card and load them up onto their emulator and play it that way.
I'm not even sure if that was poor shaming or brain damage or a hybrid of the two right there.
You people should be fucking ashamed of yourselves, seriously, and I don't have to go in any further on why that is.
Okay, full disclosure, I did not edit that clapping in. That was something he had in his original video. Also, you gotta love how it's over one of the worst takes ever. Like, it's just like this. Don't you guys understand he made graduation? Like, putting an applause sound effect over your argument does not give it more weight, nor does it give it any more legitimacy. In fact, if anything, it makes your argument seem even cringier and even worse. And might honestly drive people away from it, rather than... Well, you get the idea.
So, recently I've been playing a little bit of emulation. A little bit. We're talking a select number of games, and I've been playing them on my desktop, using a controller that's not an original Sega Genesis controller or a Super Nintendo controller. And most recently I was playing Outrunners on the Sega Genesis. And man, does it ever suck sitting like this in front of a computer, playing these old games on a 1080p modern HP display is what I have. it's just, man, it robs the game of its experience as opposed to playing these older titles on a CRT.
I mean, if I'm being honest, being able to adjust the graphical fidelity of an older game that you might have enjoyed in the past or experiencing for the very first time does change it a bit. Also, the freedom of being able to use whatever input device you want is great. Like, let's take Gears of War for example. Right now, if I wanted, I could rebound my controls to my mouse and keyboard. However, I'm not going to do that because it's simply too much work and I'm lazy. And overall, if you want to play it on older hardware, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Play the way you want to.
So those of you who have been watching the channel, you know I have a CRT, as you can see a little bit of footage here. And man, I've been playing on the CRT quite a bit the last couple of days. I was playing Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure, as well as a little bit more of Outrun and a few other games yesterday, having some fun with the CRT. And I have to tell you guys, and if you don't own a CRT, again, you may not fully understand, especially for the younger audience.
I know this would be really ironic for me to say, especially seeing as I grew up with a CRT, but okay, boomer. Also, I think I would understand perfectly that realistically, this is outdated hardware. It's not bad, just nowhere near as good as a 1080p monitor. And ultimately, if I had to pick between the monitor and the CRT, I would pick the monitor every single time.
Once you experience these games on a CRT with original hardware, it is next to impossible. It is next to impossible to go back to emulation on a modern display. Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god, again with the applause sound. Please stop. It's like he knows we're not going to be clapping with him, so he just grabs a random sound file to do it for him.
It's bad enough I have this older flat screen next to me, which you guys can't see here, JVC, a real nice flat screen. But even still, I have my OG Xbox and my PS2 hooked up to it, and then I got my Wii U over there hooked up to a modern. The Wii U, I guess, is fine because that's HDMI, but sometimes I play the Wii games on it. But like, even to play the original Xbox and the PS2 on a TV that is not a CRT, it robs it of the experience 100%.
Ah yes, because experiencing a game you probably enjoy at a higher visual quality is somehow robbing you of the original experience. It's not enhancing it at all, it's just bad. Why, you might ask? Because this maple syrup drinking motherfucker said so. But back to the actual point, honestly, I'm starting to feel like this video is kind of the product of nostalgia glasses. Because let's be real, the CRT has aged fairly poorly in the wake of stuff like the monitor. It simply can't compare because the monitor is just better engineered and designed, and it does what the CRT does, but better. That is, displaying images at a high visual quality.
So I have been slowly sort of looking for a second CRT to probably replace this JVC because it's really, like I said, it's affecting my ability to enjoy these older titles, you know? How awesome would it be, I was just talking about this with someone today, to be able to play a game like, you know, the original Resident Evil 4 like this, with proper 4:3 aspect ratio on a CRT in a dimly lit room with a nice set of earphones. And, you know, that would be the ideal way to play this, would it not? Not on a fucking 16:9 flat screen, that's for damn sure.
I mean, if you want to play a game in 4:3, there's literally an option for that in most emulators. I know at the very least that RPCS3 has it. And this is one of the many reasons why it is people tend to use emulation nowadays over actually playing the original game. It's not only because emulation keeps beloved titles alive, but also because emulation allows for such freedom when it comes to playing these classics. Unlike, say, the original console ports, which are a lot more restrictive, obviously, because of hardware reasons.
So, yeah, the whole fucking emulation, a lot of the gamers out there, it's like they've showed up at a Chinese buffet, you know, and they want to have a little taste of everything, but they don't want to sit down and enjoy one thing. You know, they download an emulator, and then they download a rash of games, and they dip their toe in the water. Oh, this game's okay. Oh, we'll move on to the next game, the next game, the next game, the next game. And they never really commit to any of the games they're playing for the most part. Not everybody. But that's the whole idea with these mini consoles. It's a buffet, you know? It's for the filthy casual. That's exactly what it is. And that's why I don't touch these mini consoles. I have them, but I don't really touch them.
Then in that case, why the fuck did you even buy these quote-unquote mini consoles? What was the point of it? All you did in the end was just waste money. Also, another thing I find insanely funny is how this man is unironically using the term filthy casual. Like, don't get me wrong, I've definitely used it before, but not as anything other than a joke. This man is using it completely deadass. And for some reason, it's unintentionally the funniest shit ever.
You know, again, I can't stand the way these old games look on modern displays. I can't fucking stand it.
Then change your settings. While you're using an emulator, you're able to change settings to your liking and ensure that the game experience you're having is satisfactory. So this is not a problem with modern monitors. This is not a problem with modern displays. This is a problem with you not understanding how emulators work.
You know, it's kind of like the FPGA consoles. They're okay, you know, fine, whatever. You know, this is obviously really good. Really good, right? You know, same with the analog Mega SG or the Super NT. You know, that's great. But I find a hard time wrapping my head around why you would want to play these games on these super sharp displays when you could play them on original hardware.
Well, I think the main reason was because people probably want to play a game in a frame rate higher than 15 or 30 FPS. And if you want to play in 15 to 30 FPS, no harm in that. You can always customize that. Like I've said it once already, I'll say it again. Emulation is probably one of the most customizable experiences you will ever have.
Once you experience like the scan lines and the taste of the original hardware and the original controller in your hand, and the CRT plays a huge part of it. And you know, there's a lot of gamers out there and they use the whole excuse, well, I don't have room for a CRT. Well, that's bullshit, because my CRT is like 12 inches.
Perhaps consider the following: we don't want to buy a CRT. Like obviously, if you do buy a CRT, power to you, but most people nowadays are focused more on monitors. And ultimately, people are often going to buy the latest hardware so as they have the best performance and best experience with the games they enjoy. I feel like that's just common knowledge by this point, that people will tend to buy newer hardware.
Like, it's not a big CRT, it's really not. But once you're sitting right in front of it, your eyes adjust to the display, and it's just as good as if you had a big TV.
Okay, really fucking minor nitpick, but like, please cut the audio out from the background while you're already doing a voiceover. Like, I do the same thing with my gameplay B-roll. I think most people do, in general. Overall, hearing the gameplay and your half-assed commentary over your other half-assed commentary really doesn't help. And most of the time, it just ends up being distracting.
Okay, you don't need to have a honking 300-pound CRT. Get yourself a nice small one, and it will do you a world of good.
You think I got time for this shit?
But yeah, I just wanted to sort of get this off my chest because, you know, the more and more I sit in front of my computer with this cheesy ass fake Super Nintendo USB controller that I have, and I play these old games through emulation on my LCD flat screen monitor, it just robs these games of the experience, and I just feel absolutely filthy, like I want to take a bath after playing these games this way. It's just, ugh, it's nasty. It's absolutely disgusting.
I mean, seeing as I could smell the sweat emanating from this video, I think a shower would probably do you some good. But jokes aside, bruh, it's literally just playing a video game. I don't see how it would make you feel dirty in the slightest. It's not like you did something morally reprehensible by emulating a video game. Literally, all you did was probably played a game you enjoyed.
So, you know, if you got yourself one of those misters, and then you played emulation, but you somehow because people are telling me you can hook up a mister to a CRT, I guess that would be your workaround for that, right? But even still, it's not as good as having original hardware and having that original cart in your hand.
I said this earlier in the video, and I will say it again. Nostalgia glasses. Take them off.
Yeah. So what you had there was you had a filthy casual or a poser that couldn't afford a real Countach.
Minor nitpick, I've literally never heard anyone unironically say filthy casual. Like, usually that's something you'd hear as a joke, but this dude is 100% serious, and it shows.
So they would take a Fiero and convert it into a Lamborghini Countach. So it looked the part until you got behind the wheel and started driving it, and you're like, oh my fucking god. Well, same goes for Emulation.
I mean, sure, it may not have the same exact feeling as playing on, like, a CRT when you're emulating a game. However, I still don't think it's a bad experience or a wrong way to experience a game. Like, let's take the example of a game I played in the past, Lego Indiana Jones. So, back when I was in, like, I think 2nd grade or maybe even 1st grade, I used to play a lot of that on my Wii on a CRT. However, let's suppose I started to emulate it on my PC. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a different experience given that the game will look better due to what I'm playing on. But at its core, it would still be the same game that I had played all those years ago. But anyways, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching this very low effort video. I appreciate it, and if you enjoyed, like and subscribe. Have a great day.